evening, ladies and gentlemen. MATTROISE here with another live stream tonight of AEW Dynamite, WWE Raw. Tonight, week in review. How's everybody doing tonight? We are live. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope you guys are ready for the first ever week in review episode. What's up, everybody? Who do we have here? We have Gator Mike, Elvis, Austin Benninger, Steve G, Austin Lee, Railway and Wrestling Adventures. How's everybody doing tonight? Good evening, everybody. Good evening. How are you doing tonight? Well, we're going to start the festivities off right. What's up, Andres and Michael Harper? So let's welcome the guest host for this episode. She's fairly new on the stream. You guys know her as the Queen of Darkness. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Good, good. What's going on?
My arm is still clean.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's right.
Have to
yeah.
force me.
Well, that's good. That's good. So it's great to see you on the stream. So I know
Thanks.
this was your idea, the weekend review, and I think it's a good idea.
I thought it'd be fun since, you know, we don't get to talk about other stuff, or if we do, it kind of gets marred in the middle of everything else. So like the news stuff, and people are like, hey, what are they talking about? And somebody starts talking, and then it's like, what happened with Ric Flair? Like, I think Yoshi like 4 times had no concept of what we were talking about. We were like, it's like, scroll up.
Yeah, nothing at all. I mean, like, talking about Ric Flair, I mean, I guess you think he's canceled now? Like, what do you think? Like,
let's look at this from 2 different ways. I think in his mind, he's not, and he's fighting very hard not to be canceled because he feels like, I've gone through this before. I've gone through being accused of this or being accused of that, and he's gotten around it at that point. I mean, but the time has been very, very different now. You know, Me Too movements and things like that have changed a lot, but it's very obvious by his Twitter response and a couple of things that he said to a couple other people that he doesn't feel like he really should be in any trouble at all. So
yeah, I mean, like, even like Tommy Dreamer, right? He's taking Ric Flair's side.
Well, you know, and even, you know, RVD went out of his way to say he didn't say what people thought he said, and that the editing was creative, as he said. You know, he said he didn't see Rick do anything. He saw Rick in her space, but he never saw him touch her. You know, and, you know, as Rick said, he's never touched her. You know, the allegations have come and gone. That went and did what it did. You know, and people think when there's a payoff that means you're guilty. And if you know anything about lawyers and trials and things like that, sometimes it's just easy if they're looking for the money to take it. You know, it's like, all right, here, we'll pay you off. Will that make you go away? And they'll go, okay, that'll make us go away because who wants to go to trial? You know, I mean, I know back then it was different because there was a lot of the, what did you wear? What did you say? You know, it's like, you know, were you being provocative? And it's like,
yeah,
no, I was serving drinks and doing my job. But
oh man, yeah, forget it. I mean, I always thought Ric Flair was sort of like, you know, like a little bit sleazy, you know, throughout the years. Like he would always say like he had intercourse with like 10,000 people or whatever throughout his career.
20,000 people have ridden Space Mountain.
Really, 20,000? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's gotten
There was somebody did a mathematical equation of how many people he had to sleep with per day for that to be true.
I mean,
and it's like something ridiculous.
You never know. I mean, I hope he wasn't partaking in that thing with the roofies too. That would have been horrible.
You know, and that was another thing. Like, and it's so messed up that like that kind of it almost got kind of glossed over, and then how it had come out that Sean and Jannetty were doing it all the time. And notice how that kind of just went under the rug, though. It was like, it was said, and like a couple of people were like, what do you mean? Wait, no, everybody knew about that. Okay, and then it went away. And it's like, it's like, oh, guess who ran, NXT this week? Shawn Michaels. It's like, wasn't he just accused of roofing a bunch of chicks? Like,
yeah. But
it's crazy.
And they pulled this merchandise off the WWE shop, but I don't know. You think they're gonna take away his Hall of Fame status?
I think that'll be the very last thing that happens. I think that like how far it's pushed right now, I think they just wanted to kind of go away. So not having the woo in the beginning, not having his picture in the beginning of the opening, because that's all gone, not having his merchandise. I think that they might even go so far as to drop Charlotte's last name. What? I feel that's gonna happen to kind of.
I think she did already, right? She dropped it years ago.
She came out on Raw, and the Titantron still said Charlotte Flair. So.
Oh, you mean just recently?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on Monday.
Oh.
Yeah, when she did the thing with Alexa Bliss, which we'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, no, the Titantron still said Flair on it. So.
Wow, I thought she dropped that name. I thought she dropped that name years ago. Jeez, wow.
No, well, she dropped it years ago when she was in NXT, and when they first called her up when she was part of whatever the initials they gave the dumb thing. It's like PMS,
Yeah.
Whatever that was. She was Charlotte. And then when she took on his persona coming out and being, I'm the thing and doing the woo and everything like that, they put Flair on the bottom. It says Charlotte Flair on the Titantron. So, but I think that's going to peter off for a while.
I hope.
So, yeah, and Tommy Dreamer got in trouble. He for defending him. He got in trouble with Impact. They suspended him indefinitely, so I don't know what that means. Wow. And he's also been pulled from Busted Open Radio. He's no longer one of their people on there either.
Wow. So, yeah. It's so powerful today. Like you can't get away with this stuff that they were talking about on that show today. I mean.
Oh no, absolutely not. It's funny because I was doing this and my husband made a joke. He's like, "Oh, do you remember when Patrice O'Neal was on CNN?" Because there was a group of women that were after him for telling a rape joke, and he's on CNN retelling the joke. And it's like and he's like, "Well, there's something about hitting somebody." He's like, "It's called a donkey punch," and it's like, "Oh my God, you are on national television. That would never happen today."
Oh yeah.
It's just terrible.
I mean, if we changing gears, if we go to with AEW Dynamite, I don't know if did you see it last night? It was incredible.
I saw the beginning and then I started doing a bunch of stuff. So I know that the opening match, that was absolute fire. You get the people that want to cry. It's like, oh, you gave it away on free TV, and it's like they gave it to us. They gave us that want, but then they went to that time. So there was no definitive end. There was no definitive finish. So it's like, all right, now if you want to really see who's going to kick whose butt, like you both can say, oh, well, I wanted Kenny and Kenny was going to win. And so now on the pay-per-view, we'll get a definitive winner. So, which I hope will be Daniel Bryan, to be honest. So
yeah, I hope so too. I mean, I just like I was there last night. I was in attendance, and I
saw your picture. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the best matches I've seen live. Like that was such a great match, and to be honest, it should have ended with somebody winning at least by disqualification or whatever. Like the way they did it, like they did it to a time limit draw. That was such a weak ending.
Listen, how many times do we watch WWE? And one of the biggest things that people crybaby about is it's always a DQ finish. It's always somebody's always messing up. And they don't do the draws. So they're kind of, AEW is trying to bring that old thing back in where things did go to a draw and you could go to a draw because you only had a certain amount of time. But I think we're just so used to, and we're just taught to be one way. And even though we hate certain things, we're just still used to it happening that way. So we're like, wait a minute. What do you mean there was no finish? There has to be a finish, even if it's a DQ finish.
Yeah. Like I would have at least been okay with even a count out or something because just for it to end so abruptly like that. I mean, everybody was so upset. When they went to commercial break, us fans, we were going nuts. Like,
Yeah, they said they were
yeah.
booing and they were pissed. So
Yeah, we some of these guys are gonna jump the fence. Yeah, like they were upset. I mean, because it was such a great match for it to end like that. I mean, I kind of started getting feelings like, oh no, that was like a WCW move right there. Like,
mm.
like something like they shouldn't have done. Like, they should have at least, made it a DQ or something, or
Well, I had mentioned that the last time we talked about the whole, they have to be really, really careful not to follow in the WCW footstep.
Yeah.
Like we're going to be the anti-WWE, so we're going to do all of these things because somehow that's, these are all the things you complained about, so we're not going to do that. And somehow you can't make all the fans happy,
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm going to skip to the end of the show. You can kind of come back in the middle, but I'm sorry. They did Ruby dirty. That match should have never been on TV. There should have been a huge build up. There could have been a million things going on. To have her win, come out, all right, she won, and it's like, all right, you've got this whole momentum behind her, and for her to lose,
yeah, that was horrible.
Nah, see, that's a WWE thing. We're gonna shove this person, and we're gonna give him to you, and then we're gonna crush him because we want to crush your hopes and dreams. And
exactly.
Why? Even if the dirty finish, who was doing what like that should have never happened. There should have been build. She could have fought her two little lackeys for a while and attack backstage and like make us really, really want it.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. I mean, it was just. I mean, I saw that too, and it was pretty. It wasn't that long of a match. It was pretty short and sweet. But yeah, Dr. Britt Baker, I had a feeling she was going to retain, and she did. And yeah, it's too bad.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with them building a women's champion up because we're conditioned to have somebody like Charlotte. It's like, well, I'm a 14-time champion, which means you lost it 14 times.
Yeah.
But you can't give us somebody like Ruby Soho and tell us, all right, this is somebody we wanted. Okay, we signed them. Okay, she won the Battle Royal or whatever it was called. And then put a free match on TV and have her lose. Clean, not clean, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Like you literally, I just think that every company, with the exception of Impact, to be honest, is just failing the women's division on all accords. Yeah. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
it's not just because I'm a chick, because has nothing to do with that.
No, I can see your point in that. Yeah, it's true. They're falling in certain aspects. So I mean, some things they're doing very well though. But
yes.
Yeah, but they have a lot of potential. I think I know WWE, they have a lockhold on like Madison Square Garden. So if AEW could get into MSG, that would really legitimize them. But I don't know if they'll be able to with WWE, because I think they have a specific contract with them. Maybe a no compete.
They do. No, he definitely has a stronghold on MSG. He always has. And there was a little bit of a time where I think it was the G1 that came into New York like 2 years ago. And there was talk that it was going to be MSG, and all of a sudden that went away, and there was suddenly a Raw show on. Yeah, because Vince pulled like massive. Like, that's not happening. But I don't think MSG, like, listen, you're a New Yorker, I'm a New Yorker. I don't think MSG, it holds a place in our heart as New Yorkers, and as old school wrestling fan. But if I go to the Garden now, other than to watch a Ranger game, I'm bored. I'm like,
Yeah.
Get it at home and.
Yeah.
That's because the guys in the cheap sheets are psycho, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, it's I've been to MSG quite a few times. I used to have a friend who worked for NBC, so he would get free tickets every time WWE was in town. So I would get free tickets, and I would go like every 3 or 4 months, and good seats too, really good seats. And I always went, but it wasn't always like good shows. I would just go because it was free, but I wasn't going because I was really enthusiastic that I was going to see something amazing. But that's the only reason why I would go. But it was just the arena itself. It has an aura to it, MSG. Mm-hmm. Like like that's what I I go to MSG, just the aura of it, like it just really even me, like
Thing.
and you too.
If you think about how CM Punk, where they brought him into Chi-Town, and that's the hometown crowd.
Oh yeah.
That's what that feeling is. So like we get that feeling as New Yorkers in MSG, where Chi-Town people get it, where they get it, and any hometown place, or something. It's like, but I get that. So and I'm sorry, King of Cleveland, I am female, and if you last week I was still female because I was on last week too.
these guys like to joke around. Yeah, but
I know they're joking. Was there anything else on AEW that you wanted to bring up besides the beginning and the end?
Well, yeah, Dynamite all around was a pretty good show. I'd say Rampage was a good show too. I know you guys aren't going to see that until tomorrow night, but Rampage was good. I'm a little concerned about Hobbs though, because he was dropped on his head from the turnbuckle with CM Punk. CM Punk did a Hurricane Rana and dropped, and it was kind of. But the match,
they're still promoting the match for tomorrow night, so who knows?
Yeah. So, well, they finished the match. No, they finished the match, but it was definitely like a ooh moment, like oh wow, like it was kind of like wow, did he kill him? Like it was really bad. Like I don't know how he was. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's okay. I know if someone's like an amateur wrestler, they may have like a strong neck to take shots like that. But I don't know about that. That was pretty rough.
Yeah, you see a lot of that. Like and again, I think it's the style of wrestling. I know where some of it we look at and it's like, oh, that really looked bad, but they know how to protect each other. But there are other times where you're just like,
yeah.
And I think sometimes there's just too much of that. Like, I don't want to be one of those people. It's like, oh, everything's slippy dippy now. Because I do enjoy a lot of the high flying people, but I think there is definitely some unnecessary risk. Like McFoley was unnecessary risk to a time. I think some of these high flying guys want to steal the show to the point where they do put themselves in a dangerous position. And then hopefully, the person underneath them doesn't screw up too. And then it's like, well, you got dropped on your head. So.
Yeah. But other than that, it was a great show. It was stacked. So many amazing big stars were there. I even saw Big Show. They had him wrestling on Dark for some reason. Like that was kind of weird. Like that's just a show they show on like YouTube. So he was wrestling on Dark. I saw Thunder Rosa. I interviewed her on this channel a while back, and she actually said hello to me on Twitter. She let me know. I asked her if she was going to be there, and she said yeah. But I said, "Oh, let's meet up," because I wanted to do the vlog, and she didn't respond. So, but she had a match. She had a match, so I understand. Like I understood. But I saw Kenny Omega. I saw Kenny Omega in the parking lot. He was getting into his SUV. He was driving off, so he was. That was nice to run into him. But
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. But I know they mentioned the Owen Hart Foundation now.
Yes.
The AEW now. They actually didn't mention it last night, but at the show. But I've heard something about it. Have you heard anything about it?
Yeah, from what I understand is that Martha and them have been talking for a while, and what they're going to do is there's going to be brand new merchandise licensed through AEW. He's going to be in the new AEW game. They're going to make an action figure of him. And then there's going to be like a battle royal, casino royal, whatever they want to call it. And that person is going to win the Owen. So it's going to be like an award in his name.
Wow.
So that should be really nice. Any fan that has something negative to say about this, you got your head screwed on wrong. I mean, we could argue and you can have your opinion. I can have my opinion. This is one of those instances. And I think real fans of Owen and people with actually a heart understand that she was never trying to keep him away from the fans, but WWE was the only avenue, and she was never going to let them have him. Like if a company took my husband away from me, I'd burn it to the ground personally. I'd do everything to ruin them, and now that there's another place where she can go, and these people she believes are the people that have the spirit of Owen and, wouldn't do him dirty in his memory and all of those things. I think this is a love letter to her dead husband and a final gift to the fans saying, look, I didn't forget you. I didn't take him away from you to be a bitch, but I took him away from them, and there was no place else to put him, because she did honor him in her own ways with the Owen Foundation. Oh, and there will be money that's being donated to that as well. But that's how I feel. Like, if you really want to be like bashy about it, he should be in the Hall of Fame. And it's like, you know what? You need to stop.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. That's such a big step in the right direction, with Owen Hart. I mean, he's actually going to get, some notoriety here for the AEW. His legacy will live on, and that's great, that Martha's allowing this to happen too. She's going to do this, and I think, the fans, I don't see how anyone could say anything bad about it. I mean, that's such a great thing. And to have that memory too, to have that, for whoever's going to win it, I mean, that's going to be such a huge honor.
Yeah, I think so too. Who do you think should win it? That's been a very weird one. Like, I think across the board, anybody I've seen, any of the other wrestling people or anything like that, like, a heel should not win the inaugural. Maybe later on as a plot device, that's one thing. But like a true baby face needs to win the first ever, I think.
Like an up and coming star, I'd say. Somebody who has a lot of potential. I'd have to say, if I had to choose someone on the main roster today, I mean, they really want to solidify, maybe even Brian Pillman Jr., right?
Yeah.
If they wanted
that might be a good one.
If they wanted to really give him, a push, that would work. Or who else that they could do?
I've seen Jungle Boy. A lot of people
I was going to say that
his
too.
Name. Yeah.
I was going to say Jungle Boy. Yeah, Jungle Boy. Marco Stunt. No. No. No.
See, if this was WWF, MJF would win it. That would just ruin it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, MJF. So. Yeah, totally. Forget it. Or maybe one of the Young Bucks. Or
yeah.
Oh, what about?
Although I am really surprised. Like, I love MJF. Do not get me wrong. I love his character. I love the audacity of him. I'm just amazed that he's still getting away with some of the things that he does. In our current culture, like, I appreciate it. I understand that he's playing a character, but that doesn't seem to matter to certain people anymore.
Yeah.
So, his parents put on Twitter, his mom says, I'm his mom and we hate him too. And his dad was wearing I hate MJF on the shirt.
Yeah.
I think, he told his mom to go F herself. Yeah.
They're playing along with the character. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But, this week, so Raw, their rating, which is what, like 1.7 million, right? For this week.
Yeah, it jumped. They had a good spike.
But then AEW this week had, with the whole Grand Slam, was 1.273. So with all that, I mean, they're getting there, but there's still 500,000 viewers off, and they put all the stops in this show.
Yeah.
Like
but
what
they
else
are
can
getting.
they do?
They are stealing the demographic. I mean, I don't know. I know last week it definitely came out that the 18 to 35 or 18 to 30, whatever, they definitely were stealing those. They had better numbers than Raw and SmackDown. So I think as a whole, they're going to climb. It's going to take a little while. It's not going to get there right now because either people have been turned off by it, for so many years or anything like that. But the funny thing is, I just saw today that I didn't get to tell you, was that Eric Bischoff made a tweet saying that from what he knows of Vince, the best Vince is a Vince in a fight. And this is going to be fun. Because Vince has had no competition in a very long time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know, AEW put on an amazing pay-per-view, and then Raw blew it up, which it hasn't done in God knows how long. And it's like, you know, he's like, he sees, and he's like, oh, we're gonna play now, right? So
yeah,
we can really, as wrestling fans, this should be great for us. Instead of like arguing about it, we should just enjoy it. But
no, it's just good. It's just like the Attitude Era reborn, pretty much, like just like 20 years later, pretty much, right? Like, but it's a new Attitude Era. Like, they didn't have social media back then. Like now, forget it. Everything's going to be blown up even bigger than it was back then.
Yeah. See, my biggest problem, and again, Attitude Era worked because there was no social media, and the world was different back then. Like, for some reason, I don't understand how we could watch a TV show and be okay with actors doing certain things. But when we watch sports entertainment, I understand wrestling or whatever, AEW still has an entertainment point to it. Why we can't separate one from the other. Like MJF, that's like what I'm saying. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten flack yet for playing that character because he is so rude and raw and whatever. But like WWE, you know, once they step a toe out of line, the world bugs out. And it's like, it's fake. It's a TV show. Why, you know, I get the impressionableness of their demographic and what they've moved into, you know, and not everybody's a mom like me that sits and watch horror movies with their 7-year-olds. But, you know, Mike said something about WWE's women division, and he's absolutely correct. Like I said, I don't think anybody's doing very well with their women's division, but the AEW definitely has the talent. Not that WWE doesn't, but they've got the talent. And WWE has the stories, in my opinion. Like, they definitely have people that already have like these built-in stories. They're just not pulling triggers.
Right.
And I get it. Like, from the point of view, as I guess you could say, as being a female, I should want women empowerment and, you know, the first women's ever pay-per-view and the Empower event and things like that. But as a person with a brain and a person who understands business, you know, I worked retail for 20 years being a manager. If you're not making me money, I don't care. I don't care if you're blue. I don't care what color you are, what you've got between you. If you are not making me the almighty dollar at the end of the day, then that's it.
Yeah, like,
again, just talk over me sometimes. It's fine. I get passionate. So, but speaking of the women's division, like, again, so like on Raw, we did get 3 women's matches or 3 women's segments, give or take how you want to look at it. I'm sorry. And then the Rhea Alexa promo was absolute fire. And they brought some, you know, little sticks in, like, you know, let's not talk about stolen gimmicks, you know, be her stealing her father's gimmick and then her stealing Bray's gimmick. So, and then Meltzer had the audacity to say that 1,500 people walked out of the building during their segment. And that apparently isn't true. So,
I mean, why would anyone walk out when they were going to have Roman and Lashley and Big E for triple threat, you know, in the main event? Why would they walk out? Right?
And if you watch the TV, you can't tell me that 1,500 people walked out of that building and we don't see anybody getting up out of seats, empty spaces and things like that. So wherever Meltzer got his sources from, which he's not giving up, you know, and even Alexa said, it's like, well, if those people walked out of the building, then who was chanting for us and yelling at us and things like that?
Yeah.
You know, I think he was trying to make that commentary because of, you know, the Bray, you know, her stealing Bray's gimmick and Charlotte being Rick's daughter. And I think he was trying to start something, but it's like, can't you be honest? Why do you have to make shit up?
Right. Yeah. Oh, Steve says, hands down, Impact has the best women's division right now.
Yes. Because they've got the best flow. You know what I'm saying? Their women have stories. Their women can wrestle, and they give them the time and the ampleness to tell their stories. You know, I love that whole, you know, demon realm. I know I don't watch it as much as I used to, but like the women where they went to hell and who was the demon girl, and like it was just like watching like a terrible soap opera, which was fine with me. It's like, and then it culminated in beating each other up in the ring. It's like musicals. It's like, you know, West Side Story. It's about these 2 rough gangs that are beating each other up, and then all of a sudden they stop to sing, and dance.
Yeah.
It's stupid, but it culminates in the song and the dance, and that's it. So wrestling's the same way. You give me a story, and it culminates in the ring.
Yeah,
So
it's a show. It's a show. Absolutely.
yeah.
What's up, Kimmy? How you doing? Yeah, but in any case, I mean, with NXT as well, I know they moved the Tuesdays. They got the new reboot coming, and it's pretty interesting. Like it's a new era, I'd say, in NXT. It looks like they're trying to get a more of a different demographic, I'd say. Like they're trying to appeal to a bigger mass audience, I'd say more. But in any case, I'd say they're I don't know, it's a little more edgier, right?
Yeah. Well, I think with the brightening it up and the colors, and then changing from that rock to that, rap or the hip hop kind of genre, they're definitely trying to take a little bit spicy, but still toe that line that WW has to, because the way they've created themselves as a company, being a PG and being kids and whatever. I think that, and again, that NXT is going back to being their proving ground, their testing ground, where they're going to bring up their own homegrown talent. So I think it's going to have a lot more leeway, but I think they're still going to fall into the same pitfall, in my opinion, by bringing them up to the main roster, unless the main roster starts to change. Because you have NXT guys, a lot of us, went into NXT as they started pulling in the guys from, the indies and things like that. And that's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see more of a spicier element, and it's like, all right, you were kind of giving it to us. And it's like, okay, we can't wait for these guys to get on the main roster. And then we get Karrion Kross wearing, the God of War outfit.
Yeah.
Do I look like an idiot to you? Come on.
Yeah. I know they're really messing these characters up. I mean, even like Keith Lee. I mean, he had so much potential, and he came in and they ruined it. They absolutely ruined it. And
they were pushing him, and now they put him off. And I understand that he got COVID, and it was very, very bad. They were afraid that he might make a couple of turns for the worse. But then they were putting him on the dark matches, and now he's Bear Claw or Bearcat.
Oh, Bearcat. Okay.
There was a famous wrestler. I don't remember his name, but it's something Bearcat, and he was one of the first black wrestlers to win a title. He wouldn't go to any place that had segregation. So I appreciate that, but it's like, so you're gonna take this Black History movement thing and then turn him heel?
Yeah. I know.
Where's the PR department?
some things don't make sense with these guys. They don't make sense to a lot of these guys.
I have no problem with an empowered black man. I have no problem with him winning titles. I have no problem with bringing in real. I mean, that was the whole idea of the Nation of Domination. It probably actually would work now, because I don't think anybody would say anything. But it's like, we're black men. We're tired of the bull crap, and we're gonna stand here and we're gonna beat you up and get what we want. That's fine. I mean, I know they were bad guys too, but they were bad guys because the time wasn't with them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? They were looked at as bad guys because they were troublemakers and things like that. But we're in a different era, and it's like, you want to bring this man up, give him this legend's name, this Hall of Famer's, nickname, and then make him a heel character? I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's definitely not the right direction, I'd say. Oh, Steve G says it was Bearcat Wright.
Okay.
Bearcat Wright. Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, it's just too bad, with Keith Lee. Hopefully, things turn around. But he's an incredible athlete. Hopefully. Vince. I know he doesn't like the fact that he's a little overweight too. I know Vince. He's said different things to.
If we could stretch him up, Vince would be fine.
Yeah.
So but I can't remember his name. It went right out of my head as I was going to say it. There was the guy at Bronson Reed.
Bronson, right?
He's a big boy too, but that boy can fly around the ring like he's my weight. Like, no, like, look at it that way.
Did
You
did
know?
he?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
can be a little rotund, I guess, in a sense, but that's their body. Their body carries
yeah.
the weight in a different way. If he was a half a foot taller, we'd get that meme where, he's laying on the chair going,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everybody knows that meme. And I think it's silly. I don't think that mentality works. It just doesn't. And he gets away with it.
Yeah, I think he's Bronson Reed. Didn't he go to AEW?
I don't know. I
I think
know last I heard he was kind of like putting little things out there that he might be doing something, but I don't think that he had exactly where he was going to go yet. So
yeah, I mean, I think he did actually. He showed up, I think, last week, and he was getting his hair cut by somebody. Like he jumped the fence, and it was last week. I think last week's Dynamite.
okay,
Bronson Reed, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not
okay,
mistaken,
you might absolutely be correct, and I just don't know. I don't
yeah,
remember. So
but I'm not. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Like, it looked like him. It might have been someone else, but I think it was Bronson Reed.
now maybe somebody in the chat can tell us if they know. So
Yeah, yeah,
also
and then
on Raw. Let's going back to Raw. What about the Angel Garza Umberto heel team? What do you think about that?
oh yeah, I mean, they got a lot of potential. They have a lot of potential. I mean, they could potentially, hey, they may become tag champs one day.
I'd love to see it. Like, I felt bad because when they debuted Umberto, it was like, it was okay for a little bit, and then you could see they just didn't know what to do with him. It's like, all right, we're gonna give him a different song, and we're gonna cut his hair, and it's just like, he's not Rey Mysterio. Stop trying to jam it down my throat like he is.
Yeah.
Especially now that Rey and Dominic are around. But I liked Angel Garza. I liked that sexy Spanish snotty, and I can back it up kind of guy. And then having Umberto, and it's so funny because when he does that evil smile, you actually want to believe it. Like it's like okay, all right, you're not like when they turn a babyface heel and you're just like, I'm not falling for it.
Yeah.
I think he can pull it off with Angel with him. So I hope they push them because you know how they love to take tag teams and
yeah, switch them up and stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Like they got Mansoor and Ali. They paired those guys up. I mean,
Which I don't mind the dynamic, but don't treat me like I'm an idiot why you're doing it. It's like you're going to Saudi Arabia and you haven't done shit with Mansoor. And Mansoor came in with a built-in story. He was undefeated for 49 matches, and you beat him his first night on the Raw roster. Why? For Sheamus. Sheamus doesn't need a goddamn win.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who they got writing for them. I mean, this is crazy.
People who have no concept of how to write wrestling stories. I understand, you want the entertainment part, but you still have to understand the concept of how that story is going to work. It's like taking a main character and shooting them in the beginning of the play, and it's like, okay, they really weren't the main character. We led you to believe that, but then you want to bring him back next week, and we're supposed to care? No.
Yeah.
No, I don't care. I don't care about Mansoor anymore.
Yeah. Doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. It's true.
It's obvious that you're parading him out at us like we're stupid. And it's like, no, he should have been on the roster. You should have been pushing him the whole time, not parading him out a month and a half before you go to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
But WWE thinks we're stupid. That's the only thing I can respect about AEW. AEW doesn't look at the fans and go, well, they don't know anything. They're stupid. And it's like,
oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
WWE does that to us all the time. They just think we're dumb. It's like, hey, this was a guy last week, and we're going to put on a different thing on him, and he's a different person.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, Kimmy says something about Eva Marie. Said that she they want to make her seem weak, that she don't have the ability to win by herself in the promo video. Huh.
Well, you know what it is? Because when Eva came up the first time, she was weak, and they had to hide. They did a perfect Paul Heyman where it's like, I'm going to hide your weaknesses and I'm going to put you out front. You're really, really pretty. You've got nice boobs. You got a really colorful hair, so you can do this. Ah! Oh no, my thing fell off. my butt's hanging out. Fine, it was fine. But then they demoted her to NXT. And most people don't know this. I said it in the chat the other day. They played up her heel as a humongous bitch.
Oh.
And she could wrestle. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's not amazing or anything, but she could go in the ring. I mean, if you go back and try to Google a couple of those matches, they were pushing her. They sent her to Brian Kendrick. Kendrick gave her his famous move and everything, taught her how to do it, and she was wrestling down there. Then she left, and they came back, and they were like, yeah, we're just going to reiterate the same character. Why? It didn't work the first time, hence why you sent her down to NXT to learn how to wrestle for you to bring her back up. And it's not doing, and it's not even like, okay, I could say Eva's power or star power or personality or whatever is doing something for Piper Nevins, because I'm not calling her Dewdrop. You're not doing anything for her either. You're not. Like, it's just rinse and repeat. Big girl beats up stupid girl. Okay, match is over. Again, we're not dumb. There's no substance to it.
Not at all. Yeah, it's just...
Even if it's a catfighty story, at least give me something. Like, this is stupid. She beat her up last week. Why is she beating her up again? It's not like Eva came after her pissed off. She's like, I beat her up last week, so I'm going to beat her up again.
Yeah, it's lazy booking. You know, they keep, you know, like each and every week they're doing the same thing. That's why, like, yeah, I guess a lot of people, they tune out, you know, and the ratings aren't what they used to be, you know, and I don't know, but now with competition on you know, on their hands, I mean, they have to do something, WWE, because, you know, AEW, they're trying to bring it. So I hope WWE's ready. You know, they certainly can put on a good show when they want to. So hopefully they're more than capable of putting up a fight. You know, I'm sure they could. I'm sure they could.
And I hope they do. And I hope AEW makes them bring it. But again, and it's so weird because WWE now falls into certain traps too, because it's like, all right, yeah, they got a bump in the ratings, but what did we get out of that? We had to have Roman and the Usos come over. They opened the show. Then we got a triple threat at the end of the night, you know, and it's like amazing. I don't say I don't enjoy it, but it's like now we're going to have that lazy booking because Fox said, well, if they get this, then we get this. So you have to now, everything that you give them, that's why we got those 2 Hell in a Cell matches, because they advertised one on USA, and then the Fox went, we need one now. And it's like, so we're going to play a tit for tat game within its own company.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up. You know, that's what happens. You know, he sold SmackDown for $1 billion, you know, and that's, you know, that's their deal, you know, so. Yeah,
it's rough.
Yeah, but is there anything else you want to bring up, Queen of Darkness, before we sign off?
I don't think so. I mean, other than maybe Matt Cardona deciding that he's retiring from the death match, which I thought it's like, if you saw the picture of him and how he looked and how beat up he was and bloody, I'd retire too. And then he lost it, a week later?
Oh, geez, that's crazy.
It's like you got the crap kicked out of you. You lost it, and then you went. And I don't remember. I don't know the indie circuit well enough, but I know he went the next week, and Mox came and beat his ass. It was like, poor Matt Cardona. He just can't catch a break. Give him the IC title. My son was the only person who saw that when that happened. We were all like, "This person's going to win." He goes, "Matt Cardona is going to win," and we were like, "No, Zack Ryder's not winning. No, he's not." And then Zack Ryder won, and my son was like. And then he lost it the next night, and it was just like, and we all looked at him, and he's like,
well, at least he won it, you know.
At least he won it. He's on the record book, although I don't know now. He's in another company, so that gets erased. Well, you know what? With Ric Flair being in trouble, we don't have to worry about Cena beating someone's record, because now we can't say his name. We can't talk about Charlotte winning more titles because we can't say his name. So now they're going to have to find a new outlet for these people to come and win titles.
Oh, forget it. Yeah.
What now? Isn't Triple H the next in line? There's John Cena, and Triple H is kind of like here, and then Randy Orton's right here. So we're all going to go after John. You know, how are we going to do that? So
I mean, one of them's gonna do it. I don't know who though, but one of them's definitely gonna do it.
Randy Orton should. If that's the last thing I say tonight, Randy Orton should definitely do it, because he has still got all the gas in that tank. He's still just as amazing as he was, when he was 24. He hasn't, I don't think he's ever missed a beat, a step, or anything like that. He goes away and he comes back and we're like, we never not like him, whether he's a heel. He's just always a badass, and we appreciate him, and we appreciate that he's a sneaky person, and we just enjoy him no matter what he does. So I think that they should do it to him.
I think that's a good choice. I mean, I wouldn't mind if they did it with Cena, but Randy Orton too. I don't mind either. Randy Orton, absolutely. All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me, Queen of Darkness. It's a great show. Maybe we're gonna do this again next week.
Sure thing.
That'll be fun.
As long as everybody's not tired of me.
No. All right, so I'm gonna catch you for Dark Side of the Ring. So I'll catch everybody with Dark Side.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for having me.
15 minutes or so. All right, Queen of Darkness.
Thanks.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, guys, so I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you all be safe and be well. I'm going to start it up for Dark Side of the Ring, and I'm going to have you guys pop on to say hello during a commercial break, and we're going to have a good time tonight for Dark Side. So enjoy this brief intermission, chill out, get something to eat or drink, and I'll catch you guys later for Dark Side of the Ring. Have a great night, everybody. Be safe and be well. MATTROISE signing out.